of the Virgin Islands altogether. It's by carbon dating, they found it. They went back to like 70 to 100 million years, and but in 1996, the U.S. government finally turned it over to the Virgin Islands government. So it is actually the newest Virgin Island newest U.S. Virgin Island. The reason it's called Water Island is that in old days, one of the few places, well actually still nowadays, one of the few places where there is a freshwater ponds on here. The old ships used to come in here, the pirates used to come in, get fresh water. In the middle of World War II, the U.S. government was a little bit nervous about the Germans coming in the Caribbean here and staking their claim in here. So they took this island from the owner by eminent domain, and they gave him $10,000 for it. And they started building, underground fort is built here, barracks. It was going to be an army fort, an outpost, because right over here is sub base. And sub base was from World War I, and it still was a U.S. naval sub base over here, so they wanted to protect it. Anyway, in the 1950s, it was abandoned again, and a group of investors came in and bought the island, and they built a hotel here. And it was called the Virgin Isle Luxury Resort. It was like a 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel, whatever stars it gave them in those days. But it was an ultra luxury hotel. Then Hurricane Hugo came along in 1989, blew it right out, and there was nothing left here. This was the basis of, if you ever heard of the famous novel, Don't Stop the Carnival, it was supposedly based on here. The Gull Reef Club was based on here. I've read that book. I read it right before I came down here. I've read it like 8 times since I've been here, and every time I read it, I still see people that I know in it, even more people that I recognize in it. Also here, back in the 1700s, the Danish governor of St. Thomas, he was kind of known for selling these letters of marque, they're called, M-A-R-Q-U-E. And he was selling to pirates, and if you had a letter of marque, and you could attack Spanish ships. So these pirates bought these letters of marque. They went out here to Panama and just raised hell over there with the Spanish settlements. Robbed them, plundered them, did everything they could do. They came back, got on the ships, and they got caught. And they took them back to England, and they were being tried in England. And they said, wait a minute, we have a letter of marque from the governor of the St. Thomas. And it was in Danish, so nobody knew what the letter said. So they brought in a translator, and the translator said, well, this says that you're allowed to hunt goats on Water Island. They got japped out. And that's it. That's a true story about all this here. 100% true.